Hi everyone, and welcome to this, the third of our streams today for our 12-hour stream celebrating 1 year full-time streaming here at the Academy. Before we go around and say hello to everyone, please check out the opening links, including all the places you can find us, interact with us, and communicate with us, including our Patreon, our Twitter, our YouTube, our Discord, which is always popping, and all of those good things. Also check out our sponsors, Mage Hand Press and Bird in the Storm Publishing, whom we're very grateful to because they make all of this possible. Let's go around and say hello to everyone. Hey Josh, how you doing?
How am I doing? That's a loaded question, Scrat. I am dealing with a cold right now, but despite which, I am more excited than ever to run this one shot I've got for you guys. It's going to be super exciting, and we'll get into that in a minute. But if anyone's interested, you can find me on Twitter at Joshua Barbeau. I do Twitch streams, I write stuff, and I have a Dungeons and Dragons business. What more need to be said?
Fantastic. And that's dmondemand.ca, right?
Correct, dmondemand.ca.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like I said, I am dealing with a cold, so I'm going to ask both the four of you and all the viewers patience to if I need to mute it in a moment's notice for a second to cough or something, but I will do my best to keep that to a minimum.
You're going to be amazing, I'm sure. Well, let's go clockwise around the screen to Alice. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. I'm Alice. I'm also White Rabbit Pick, and that's where you can find me on Twitter. I'm the other half of the Scratticus Academy. I DM, I play on here, and all those sort of shenanigans. I also do a lot of photography stuff, and the Patreon comes out next week. I want to say next week. I think it's next week. I can't remember. Otherwise, that's about it. I'm excited to come here and play today.
Thank you, honey. Next round, we have Renee.
Hi, I'm Renee, and I am here today, and I don't know why I insist on creating spellcasters last minute, but here we are. I am playing Vitani today, and I feel like there's a lot to celebrate. I don't want to celebrate Joshua being sick, but I am glad that he is here and running this game, and I totally respect him for that. And also, I'm super excited about the Academy, OMG. Also, Alice's Patreon. I guess I should say things that I do. I'm Renee, and I'm on Twitter at RayDNR. You can find plenty of the things that I do, including streaming several times a week here on Scratticus Academy on Monday nights in Tact and Diplomacy as the wonderful Cash, and Wednesdays leading the Tapestry as storyteller for that Weave viewer game. I also do podcasts like Fate and the Fable Maidens, a D&D family-friendly actual play, and Edenfall, which is in pre-production, an audio drama that is inspired by Scratticus Academy's Eden. So, I also write things. Sometimes I'm on the Patreon. Sometimes I'm around here and there. So, if you're interested in seeing more, feel free to check it out.
Yay! Next round, we have Lydia. Oh, hi.
Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for having me back. I'm super excited to be here. I'm going to play a snake lady for the first time, as you can see in my name. And what else? You can find me on Twitter at Lydia Heals. I just changed my name. I've been reborn. So if you'd like to type in Lydia Heals into Twitter now, that's how you'll find me. I play Zweihander on Wednesdays on Encounter Roleplay, and I'm around other places too at various times. And if you follow my Twitter, you'll see it.
Fantastic. Thank you. I will be playing Bigglewick Blunderfoot, a kobold barbarian. Now, we have two advantages to carry over from the last game, but the two characters who had the advantages had conditions for whom they wanted to gift their advantages to. So I want to ask, who has the lowest intelligence? Mine's 11.
Oh.
Mine's 16, so
Mine's
not me, probably.
13.
13?
It's me.
My NPC has an intelligence score of 6.
You don't count.
They all had really low intelligence, didn't they?
Lydia, then. Lydia, you get the advantage. You get the advantage. So now,
Yay.
who has the highest charisma? I have an 8.
I have a 16.
Charisma, you say?
Mm-hmm.
I have an 18. I'm dumb but charismatic.
Lydia, you get both of the advantages from the previous stream. Congratulations.
Wow.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, with that all done, I think I don't think there's anything else I should be doing. We'll hand over to Josh.
All right. So, welcome to Revenge of the Crimson Court. So we're going to go into the Forgotten Realms, because that's where this game takes place. And we're going to go to a seldom used corner of the Forgotten Realms, the plains of what did I say the plains were? I have it written down. The plains of something. It's in the Anauroch Desert. That's the more important part. So the Anauroch Desert
Of Standing Stone.
Thank you. The plains of Standing Stone. It's in the Anauroch Desert. So the Anauroch Desert is not a place that has been very welcoming to travelers for a while, because there was a blue dragon that made that her home. But she's no longer there. And so now it's like anybody's for the taking. And it just so happens that 4 very evil people decided to make that their new lair. So I want to go around the table. We've already introduced your characters by name, but what we haven't told our viewers is that your characters are all villains, not heroes. And though they're all very different, they have one thing in common. All 4 of you have been foiled by the warriors of good deeds at some point in the past. So I'd like to go around the table and have each of you, sorry if I'm putting you on the spot, but I'd like to have each of you tell us what your evil plan was and what the warriors of good deeds did to foil it.
Before we go round, thank you very much, Cyborg Pizza, for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. We're just getting started. You're just right on time for our character intros, in truth. Cool. So shall I dive straight in first?
Go for it.
Bigglewik was fooled by the heroes of good deeds. They convinced him that he was being very evil, when actually he was helping them to their own ends. He ended up doing a lot of heavy lifting, which he thought he was stealing a load of stuff, but it actually turns out he was loading a cart for them, which they then drove away, and he totally was standing there for a good half an hour before it all clicked together.
What jerks?
Yeah.
What jerks? Did they try the whole we're doing this on behalf of the Lord's Alliance for some important quest?
No, they literally pretended they couldn't see me and did the whole, I'm really glad that all that stuff isn't on that cart. And I thought I was being so evil. I was like, I'm here on the cart. And I went and lifted it all, and I was putting it all on there, because I'm strong. That's my thing, you know. I've got bear strength. I stood there watching the cart roll away with them all on it, like,
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I love it. Fabulous. All right. So let's go down to Lydia. Lydia, you're next.
Oh, okay. So I think that the evil plan that she had started was that she was working with the team and hired some other evil guys, and we were going to do something to get rid of the ozone layer so that all of the stones in town would be warm, and then I could warm myself on them because I'm, part reptile. But, having ruined the ozone would have also killed most everyone else, so.
It's it's a matter of perspective, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, sunscreen, right?
Yeah, and what did the Warriors of Good Deeds do to stop you in your evil plan?
They hired a bunch of scientists that created an even better ozone that couldn't be penetrated by my evil alliance for sun.
Drat them.
Right?
Drat them. Terrible, terrible.
Jerks.
All right. Renee, what did Vitani get up to in the past?
Well, Vitani created a plague. She was very proud of it too, and she found someone who could be the carrier of the plague, take it into all of the neighboring towns and villages. And one of the members of the Warriors of Good Deeds seemed like the best option because they travel around doing all of these good deeds. So she kidnapped one of them and infected him with the plague, let him carry it for her, but the rest of the Warriors of Good Deeds discovered it and also raided her own lair at the time when she was still so low, and came in, took everything apart, saved him. She was furious. And they were able to concoct. She thought she was smarter than they were, but they were able to reverse engineer a cure. And so she suspects that he still carries some part of the plague, but she's not sure how yet to activate it and send him further into the world with this deadly weapon that she has created.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And Alice, what about Mo?
Mo is a simple halfling who had a simple plan that was supposed to go very, very well. Mo is effectively, at least what she likes to call, a pirate. She's a thief with a boat. She managed to steal this jewel from one of the family members because supposedly it had magical properties, but she wanted it mainly just because it was shiny. The problem was they came after it. They ganged up on the boat and they sunk her boat. So she's not going back to get the jewel. She's going back to get enough money for the boat and make them pay for it. That boat was her life. So
the Warriors of Good Deeds sunk your boat. Oh no,
Yes.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Ugh, I really don't like those guys. But let me tell everyone a little bit more about them. So, the Warriors of Good Deeds have quite a reputation in Faerun and the Sword Coast. They've done a lot of good deeds, but whether or not their deeds are good, I guess, is a matter of your perspective. There's 4 members, and they're comprised of Sir Baldric, a human champion, a human fighter, Gimbal Longbottom, a halfling thief, Natalia Stormbreaker, a dwarf cleric, and Olive Leafarrow, an elf wizard. And they've been a thorn in all of your sides. So now you guys, fast forward a few years, you guys have connected and shared your tales with each other of dislike for the Warriors of Good Deeds, and you've come up with this plan to do them in for good. So you've gone to the Plains of Standing Stones. It's a remote location. Likely no one's ever going to find it. Perfect to plot for your revenge. I told you that you've got 3 basic locations of your base. One is a keep, where you have your respectable army of minions that are training and working hard to do your bidding. One is a dungeon that has not yet been fully dug out, but it's still something that can be excavated and used for purposes that dungeons are used for. And finally, you have a lair. Now, the lair is special because that's where you guys hang out predominantly. That's where you can fall back to if everything goes to hell. Nobody knows where that lair is except for the 4 of you and your one most loyal minion. You have one minion who you trust above all. He's been with you through thick and thin. His name is Wrong Baloney, sometimes called Rotten Baloney. He's a gnome, and he serves you faithfully. Let's see. He speaks like this with a nasally accent, and he just seems like he's sick all the time. That has nothing to do with your dungeon master being sick at the moment, I swear. but that he's just this nasally dweeb of a character, but he gets the job done. And when you need to send a message to your troops, he's good at doing that. When you need to help make sure things are getting done, he's good at doing that. He can do a lot of stuff for you. So right now we're going to go to your lair, your hidden lair, and you've all gathered there. And Wrong Baloney has basically said, "Okay, masters, what is your plans then? How are we going to succeed in defeating the warriors of good deeds?" He turns the table to you.
Well, we have much to prepare. Vitania is like moving around the room and like gathering things.
I still say that we should just like drop a heavy rock on them or something.
A heavy rock. That could work. That could work. You would have to suspend it somehow and then lure them under the rock.
You should make sure that the rock is warmed first. In the sun.
Yes.
I still say that is such a clever plan.
The rock plan. We like the rock plan. Okay. Where should we set up the rock? Should we set up the rock like do you want it set up like outside of your bases? You know, like maybe in the plains somewhere where you expect them to travel? Or should it be set up in one of the rooms in the dungeon? Or maybe as like a precautionary measure in your lair in case they should happen to, by all means astounding, find this place that is completely hidden and will never be found. Or should we set it up in the keep? Now, I don't know why you would want to set it up there. More likely than not to squash all your minions, but could work.
Only if they get incredibly obnoxious.
Oh, the minions or the warriors of good deeds? They're both pretty obnoxious.
Indeed, yes. Vitani just has like a bunch of bottles in their arms now. Just like a bunch of bottles. They have weird stuff in them. Keeping like continuously like just, you know, gathering. They're all probably breakable and she's just got them all bundled up and tucked in her arms. She's like starting to organize them.
Indeed. Very, very useful, for sure, for sure. What should I tell the men? And women? We're an equal opportunity enterprise here.
I believe this rock plan is best set up beyond the entrance to our lair as a precaution and a crushing welcome.
So, like, as a trap in the valley below, as they have to come through the valley in theory to get into our base.
Yes, in theory.
Assuming they don't know some other way into the plains of Standing Stones.
I keep getting concerned every time you say things like, in theory, baloney.
Oh, well, that's neither here nor there. I'm wrong about a lot of stuff. That's why my name is Wrong.
Of course.
He laughs, but his laugh is not very convincing. He's like I said, he's very loyal, but he also knows that one wrong step and he could wind up in a lava pit or something like that. there's a couple of matters at hand as well. You know, I heard from the men that you should probably visit the keep and the dungeon at some point. They're both complaining about something, but I didn't write it down and I don't remember what they said.
You can't give us any more information than that.
Well, you know what they are. I was like, hey, what can we expect? When can we expect the dungeon to be done? And then I got, well, you see this black eye? Well, that's what I got for asking questions. But they won't do that to you. You're the leaders.
Well, I can try. There's a reason we're the leaders. Flex.
That's right, exactly. They can certainly try. They'll lose.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go back and tell them that they're not doing their jobs?
No, I think we should
Or
handle.
something?
I think we should handle matters personally, right, Sadie? And
Right. Yes, I think it's much more effective if we handle it ourselves.
To be honest, they made it personal when they broke.
No.
I think Alice said that if it went again, she was probably gonna dip, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
That is fair.
Too
We
much
don't-
of a pain.
Sufficient.
We don't know what.
Sufficiently annoying technical difficulties.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on. There's been a Windows update recently. Zoom's been updating. It's probably a combination of
Be anything.
one of
Yeah.
those things. So, yeah, we will continue without for now. But everyone go and send her well wishes. I know she was getting upset about it. Cool.
All right. All right. So, what are you guys gonna do? You can go to the keep. You can go to the dungeon. You can go explore the outskirts and check out this valley that your minion told you about. There's lots of different things that you can plan, but ultimately, you're looking to set things up so that you have a perfect trap for the warriors of good deeds.
Bigglewick,
yes.
this stone plan was your idea. Would you like to go out to the valley and choose the best spot for it?
Yeah. All right. I can do that. Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
And I'll go and look. Thank you very much, Radagast, for the subscription there. They gift an advantage to Renee.
Ah, thank you.
Oh boy, and Sphinx are coming through as well. Thank you very much. Since the Streamlabs donation didn't go through to celebrate a year, here are a whole bunch of biddies. 6,000 bits there. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
Huh.
Thank you.
It might not be Alice. My phone just dipped as well.
Oh,
Wow.
so maybe it's just your internet?
Yeah, but I'm fine. Okay. You know what? Streamlabs just
You
did an
are
update.
fine.
Maybe Streamlabs is taking up a bunch of bandwidth. I don't know. Everyone stop updating shit. When it's not broken, stop fixing it, please. God damn it. Okay. Yeah, so like we've got a whole bunch of bits there. Do we want to do some like random roll table stuff or something like that? Some like wild magic surges or something? Josh, it's up to you. You're in the hot seat here.
Well, all right. So we got 6,000 bits. Yeah, let's do some random rolls on a wild search table and see what we get.
Sure.
I love random tables. I live for this.
Scrat, if you want to do the honors, you're welcome to.
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you what I can do. I can give.
Oh no!
There it goes again.
What on earth is happening? I swear to God.
Crazy.
So weird.
We've definitely talked throughout this session about how the Warriors of Good Deeds
Oh,
are.
this is what they're doing. They're messing with our damn
They're
internet.
actually responsible for the internet problems you're having, Scrat.
Yeah, that's it. They keep flicking the Wi-Fi router on.
It wasn't enough for the Warriors of Good Deeds to screw with your characters. They needed to screw with your players as well. They've messed with Scrat's internet. They've stolen Renee's popcorn. I'm not yet sure what they did to Lydia, but I'm sure we'll find out before the end of the session.
I am sure that you will.
And it was all gone. All my popcorn was gone.
Gremlins. When I pitched this idea of playing villains, I wasn't suspecting that it would totally throw your stream all to hell. But that's what happens. So, all right, you gonna roll, or are you kicked out of the thing?
Oh no, I can
You
totally
weren't
roll.
able to
I can
roll?
totally roll. Yeah, I'll roll something. There. What am I rolling, sorry?
On a wild magic surge table.
Oh yeah, totally. Sorry, my bad. So what I was gonna do, I keep getting distracted by all the issues.
No
Yes.
worries.
Would it help if I tried to pull in one of my Zoom?
No, it's all good. I've got it fixed now. We're all good. There is a bunch of roll tables there, or we can go for the traditional wild magic surge table. It's entirely up to you. I personally recommend the potions one, and strangely the horses one. The horses one is very fun.
All right. Well, let's roll on the potions and the horses. We got 6,000 bits, right? We got to make more than one roll for that.
Yeah.
Did you say horses?
Yeah, there's a table
Horses.
of there's a table of 100 horses.
Like,
Do it. Roll
I
on the
want
horses
a horse.
D100 then, everyone.
All right.
That's in the Zoom window, Scrat. That's not going to help.
table.
53.
All the technical issues are throwing you off, I can see.
Wow, those are closely bundled.
53, 44, 50,
Okay, so
32.
Horses first. I guess these will be our gallant steeds.
Yeah.
Can a snake ride a horse? I promise I
Sure.
won't strangle
Oh, this
it.
one's so perfect.
No.
Lydia, you get Zulfano the Gelid. This horse is ice cold. It moves slowly but can levitate up or down at a rate of 1 foot per second. When levitating, it cannot move horizontally unless it is pushed or pulled.
Well, that's going to come in
Sounds
handy.
useful.
Renee gets maximum grace. Burglary horse that can move silently and climb brick walls.
Ah, yes.
And I get Wiki Walter, light brown, branded with the seal of justice as a former bounty hunter's horse, and neighs loudly if the owner tells a lie in his presence.
Oh, boy.
And then the other one we're going for was potions, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing one roll for both, or are you guys rolling again?
Oh,
I'll roll again.
sure.
70.
I get a potion which polymorphs my kobold into a goblin.
Neat.
That's going to be useful, I'm sure.
The difference is so great. Renee, on a 20, you get a couple of rounds of shocking grasp.
Good, good.
And Lydia, on a 70, you get X-ray vision.
Well,
Well, of course.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Sphinx, for all those bits. We will put them to good use. Speaking of horses, Scrat, I think you were going to mount yours and go check out that valley.
That's true. I will hop on horse whose name I already can't remember. And away I shall trot.
All right. Just so I know, Lydia and Renee, what are you doing while he is gone? Or are you just waiting for him to come back?
I would like to work on a way to activate my plague again.
Just so I know, which member of the Warriors of Good Deeds did you infect with a plague that ultimately didn't work last time?
It was absolutely Sir Baldric. Yes.
Sir Baldric, of course it was.
Vega, yes.
Those humans, they have poor immune systems. I know that firsthand.
Yes, but I should have kidnapped the thief because that is how they made it into my lair. Yes.
Yes, that thief is a pain. Pain in the backside.
They're all pain.
All right. So you're working on reactivating your disease, and what is Sadie doing?
Sadie is gonna probably find a warm area of the room.
Okay.
Right there. She'll just
All
be
right.
watching
Does
on her concocting.
so your secret lair is actually pretty cold, but if you open up the hidden door and just leave it open, you can let a warm draft through to warm it up a bit.
I get far away from my frozen horse.
All right, so Scrat, Bigawick. What does Bigawick travels on horseback to the canyon?
Yes. I'm looking for a spot which might have like a cave or something, so I can perhaps put up signs that say there'll be a great treasure hidden somewhere. The sort of thing that Gimbal Longbottom wouldn't be able to resist. You know, that's
Of course. Well, I mean, you do have a partially excavated dungeon, if you'd rather use that. But if you want to look for just any old cave in the ravine, you could make a investigation check.
Yes, perfect. I'm great at investigation. Nat 1.
Nat 1. Fantastic. You are great at investigation. You do not find a single cavern in this entire ravine. Yeah. In fact, as you stand in front of the largest cavern in the ravine, looking the opposite direction, you could swear you do not see a single cavern in that entire plane of space.
I can't even see where we're supposed to have this dungeon excavation going on.
Well, that's back towards your base. That you pass that on the way to the ravine. The ravine is like the only known way into the plains of standing stones. So in theory, if the heroes are going to come here to mess you guys up, this is the path they'll have to take. In theory.
I'll just go and put the rock somewhere up on the ravine. That'll do.
All right. So so you go and mark a place on the top of the ravine where you want the rock put.
Yeah, just go and put
to hopefully roll down into the ravine. You've got people to take care of putting a boulder there for you, but you take care of marking and saying this is where it's going to go. And that will hopefully deal with the heroes on their way in. Save you guys a lot of trouble.
I wonder though, is this foolproof enough? What if it misses?
I don't know. What if it misses? What does Big Owick think? Did you take any minions with you, or did you go by yourself and your horse?
I went by myself with my horse, so I didn't think that far ahead.
Okay.
What I'm thinking is maybe I could put some sort of like lever thing, down on the ground there, so that as the as the heroes are walking by, just in case the rock doesn't hit them, it could maybe land on the lever like a seesaw and fire them up into the air. Maybe.
Ah, yeah, oh, if they step out of the way of the boulder, which they will obviously see coming, they will step into the way of the other trap that you're going to set up.
Ah, see, now we're thinking in
Very,
triangles.
very clever.
Yeah.
Very, very clever. So you make note of that as well, to set up some sort of pulley system and some sort of bungee jump system, so that when the rock falls, if they're standing under the rock, they'll get squashed, and if they're not standing under the rock, if they're standing right next to where the rock is falling, they'll get flinged into the air.
But I wonder, is this complicated enough?
And essentially, Bigglewick is going to start reconstructing Mousetrap all through the ravine.
Okay. Mouse, yeah.
At one point, Tani looks over to Sadie and is just like,
It's the next day and Bigglewick hasn't come back yet, and you're starting to wonder.
Bigglewick is alive.
I wouldn't know. He probably cursed himself with the rock.
He probably did, yes. Yes.
Scrap, what is Bigglewick's intelligence score?
It is a solid 11.
Awesome. I'm
I'm
gonna
only
pull.
slightly dumber, so I probably had full faith in you, actually.
I'm gonna reach back into my first edition days and pull out a fun old rule, and say roll 3d6, and see if you get a number below your intelligence score.
I do not.
You did not. Well, okay then. Fancy that. Then you think you did a good job with the mousetrap contraption.
Great. Yeah, this is great. I mean, because if the boulder misses, it'll catapult the boot into the bathtub. The bathtub will knock the water into the thing. The water will run down into the marble. The marble will run along the rail and maybe hit them then. And if it misses them, then it will hit the big stick thing that's got a hand on it for some reason. And that will knock the cage that falls on them. Perfect.
All right, Bigglewick, you set up an awesome mousetrap contraption, and you've come back. You've come back to your lair. It's been let's say a day or two. Sadie has managed to elevate her body temperature by finding a nice warm spot to lay in, and Renee, make me an Arcana check.
Okay. Oops, I dropped my phone on the floor.
That's not how you roll dice, I don't think.
Phone.
That.
I guess
thank
your
you.
phone could count as the D2.
that is also not how you roll dice. Do not roll sixes.
Thank you very much to Malhad Dale, who donates to give an advantage to me and Rene, but gives 2 advantages to you, Josh, to hold on to and used against us at your will.
Oh boy, the
Gosh.
warriors of good deeds. Thank you kindly, Malhadel. They will use your advantages very, very soon. All right, what did Vitani roll?
Yes, a 9.
9. Okay. So with a roll of a 9, you figure that in order to reactivate the dormant disease that you've already placed in Sir Baldric de la Vega, you will need no less than 5,000 bottles of different disgusting items. So like an eye of newt in one bottle, a frog's leg in another bottle,
Yes.
not like the kind you eat, but like the disgusting kind. toad's
Ogre
leg.
snot in another bottle.
Ogre snot. Oh,
Yes.
giant toenail, which
Yes.
I hear makes a pretty good potion, but you're not using it for that purpose. Et cetera, et cetera. You'll need like 5,000 bottles of all that different stuff. And then you'll need to get some horribly unlucky person to drink all those bottles in the same 12-hour period. And then in theory, that person shall explode and reactivate the disease in Sir Baldric through some weird weavy magic. It's the Forgotten Realms. Magic is weird. You can do weird things in one corner of the world and affect something in another corner of the world because everything's connected through the weave.
Of course. I have started gathering a lot of
You
bottles.
did.
Is there
You
anything
did.
I'm missing that I need for this endeavor?
I think let's see. Off your checklist, you're still missing a pinky toe from a kobold.
Oh no.
A pinky toe from a kobold. Some scales from a snake. Some eyelashes from a gnome, and perhaps, just maybe, a human spit, which is ironically probably the hardest thing you're going to come by out here.
Indeed. I would like to take the list of ingredients I have remaining and head to the keep to speak with our minions.
Take the list up with your minions. Unfortunately, you don't have any human minions.
Yes. That is unfortunate. That is the most difficult ingredient on the list. But that's not to say that my minions aren't mostly capable of getting the others.
Oh, for sure. Given the right instructions, I'm sure they could come back with all of the other things you need.
Yes, I think there's a moment where Vitani sweeps into the keep and immediately
into the
starts
keep?
glaring around the room, trying to see which minion makes eye contact first.
Well, when you come into the keep, everyone kind of looks your way. Obviously, you're a big deal. You're a big deal. You're a head honcho. You're a BBEG, big bad evil girl. You're everyone thinks you're the boss because you kind of are. So everyone looks your way, but one in particular comes up to you. His name is Grixis, and he's the hobgoblin captain of your minion army. He's clad in full plate, and he's got,
Who all is in our minion army? So I do need
who all is in your minion army? Let's see. You have 12 minions that are comprised of goblins, mephits, which are little angry elementals, short angry elementals, a couple skeletons, some bullywugs, a single drow, but no kobolds. Unfortunately, it's annoying.
Okay.
You do know a kobold. Maybe he'd be willing to part with his pinky toe, but he isn't exactly one of the minions.
It is not.
There.
Take it anyway.
Then you also have some hobgoblins that are kind of like lieutenants in the army, and they each have a warhorse skeleton that they ride. Then you also have specifically Grixis. He's the hobgoblin captain. He's the only one that wears plate armor. And then you also have this super awesome succubus / incubus, because they can change their gender willy-nilly, that is just ready to do whatever you need her or him to do. especially if it involves taking out the warriors of good deeds. The backstory on how you got this succubus/incubus to join your army is a little vague, and we're gonna leave it at that. But the hobgoblin Grixis walks up to you. He's the captain of your army, and he says, "What do you need done, mistress?"
I literally just like thrust the list at him, and it has the ingredients I am missing, and I say,
I need candidates to retrieve these.
He looks over the list and says, Yep, I can get most of these things. I can get most human spit. That's going to be hard to come by in this part of the world. Not a lot of humans in the plains of standing stones. But I mean, kobold. One of the masters is a kobold, but I can't exactly assault him. He's one of the masters.
So.
Well, I mean, if you order me to do it, I guess I can't contradict one master's order as long as Master Bigglewick doesn't order me not to do it, and then I'm in a conflict.
If Bigglewick complains, I will take the toe myself.
Very well. We'll ensure it's done. I still don't know how we're gonna get the human spit, though. If you like, I can send a legion of my best men out of the plains of Standing Stones to the nearest village. I'm sure we could find some human spit there, but they'll be gone for at least a 10-day to get it.
I was wondering if we might speak to our succubus about the spit.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't really talk to her. You know, she lives over in that part of the. She's claimed that half of the keep all to herself, and we've been forced to continue our training in the other half of the keep. Outside of you four masters, what she says around here kind of goes. You know, you don't like messing with fiends and all that.
Yes, I understand.
and it's very dismissive at this point.
So he takes the list and he makes off with it. If you want to go over meet the succubus, you can.
I will, yes.
So she has converted half of the keep into a lavish place. Not so much a keep, more like a place of relaxation. And she's just kind of like lounging around in the sun, enjoying herself, as she's wont to do. And then when she sees you walking up, she pulls up a tray that is filled with like grapes and stuff that she's been eating from. And she says, "You're welcome to also eat from them." And she says, "Vitani, it is a pleasure, indeed. What can I do for you?"
What is her name?
What is her name? Her name is Alexandria.
Oh my gosh. I swear
least-
you just read my mind.
At least that is the name that she's given you.
Yes.
Fiends have this thing about giving out their true names. They don't like to do it very often
Yes.
because
but
then
we
they can be summoned.
We must refer to her as something.
Yes. Alexandria.
Okay.
Yes, Alexandria.
Yes,
May I join
Vitani,
you?
it is a pleasure to see you in these parts. Of course. My part of the keep is your part of the keep. What can I do for you?
I find myself in a bit of a predicament, lacking a single ingredient that will yet be hard to find in these reaches of the world. But I thought someone of your talents may have either acquired and kept some such ingredients, or would know a means how. I am lacking human spit.
Human spit. Human spit. That is a particularly interesting ingredient. You can do a lot with human spit.
Ah, yes. I plan.
I don't have any at the moment, but I have it on good authority that there is a human traveler who will be entering these parts in the next couple of days, and I can make it my business to extract some spit from that traveler, if you should like.
I should like. I believe that this is the final obstacle standing between us and, well, world domination, Alexandria.
She bites into one of the grapes and throws away the stem and says, "Wonderful. Then as you wish it, so shall it be done."
I appreciate your ever willingness to help.
And Vitani will stand up again and sweep out of the keep.
Perfect.
Feeling assured that all of the ingredients on their list will be acquired in good time.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
There are some minions that Vitani is not put a lot of trust in. I don't think Alexandria is one of them.
Okay. Well, she is a very capable sort.
Exactly. Not all of our minions are. Let's be perfectly honest. We retain them.
Let's be honest. They can't all be.
Very cheap.
That night, at some point, when he's coming back from his trip from the valley below, everyone just happens to hear this loud kobold-like scream echoing through the plains of Standing Stone. And then at some point shortly after, your hobgoblin captain shows up to meet you, Vitani, at the arranged place and says, "I have a kobold toe." And you also notice he's got an eye patch over his eye now. And he's a little worse for wear and looks really quite beat up. But he does have a kobold toe.
Never mind that. Vitani will open up a little pouch for the toe.
He puts it in and then limps away because somebody gave him a whooping.
Vitani tucks it away.
The next day, your favorite minion.
Yeah.
Wrong baloney. Comes up to your lair. He says, Masters, I've just heard some terrible news. Terrible news. We thought we had all the time in the world to prepare for their arrival, but I just learned that the warriors of good deeds have found out that we've made our base here in the plains of Standing Stones, and they've pledged that they will eliminate you all before the end of the 10-day. I fear they are on their way here now. I don't yet know how long it will take them to get there, but if you'd like, I can send scouts out to the edges of the Plains of Standing Stones, to watch every corner to make sure we know when they get in. Of course, if we send out that many scouts, then that will leave us somewhat defenseless. And there's another problem. The dungeon is not yet excavated, and we thought we had at least another month to excavate it, but clearly we don't. The dungeon, the excavation leader, Tube Socks. You all know Tube Socks. He's the goblin. He's the goblin leader of the excavation team. Well, he says we could never finish excavating it by the end of the 10-day, but maybe if you divert half of the warriors from the keep to the dungeon, he could use them as manual labor to excavate the dungeon in time. Of course, this too has problems, because if you divert half the warriors from the keep, then they're not busy training to get ready for when the warriors of good deeds arrive. I don't know what to do, but that's why I'm just a minion. What do you think, masters?
Well, I think we should only divert a quarter of the forces to the dungeon, and we should put them in charge. They can cut corners, break safety regulations, do all sorts of things, and get everything done toot sweet. Those goblins are too concerned.
Tube Socks isn't gonna like that, but I'll tell him.
What do you think, Vitani, Sadie? I think that's a brilliant idea, personally. Who better to manage, a dungeon than warriors?
Yes.
Certainly.
Okay. A quarter of the men to the dungeon to help the excavation team, and remove Tube Socks as the leader, replace it with some of the warriors.
Yeah, like a sergeant, someone who cusses a lot.
One of the sergeants, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Now, what about sending out scouts? Do we want to send out any scouts at all? Or do we want to keep our forces close to home? I mean, I know you set up an elaborate trap in the ravine.
Very elaborate.
Just hoping they use the ravine. I think that's the only way into the Plains of Standing Stones, I'm pretty sure.
Surely.
Can I do
It might be worth sending even one scout just out to the ravine, just to make sure that, Bigglewick's mousetrap goes off as planned. You want an insight check, Lydia? Is that what you said?
Yeah, is he telling the truth? Like, I'm pretty dumb though, so I probably wouldn't pick up on it.
You know what? Insight is wisdom based, not intelligence based. So by all means, make an insight check.
Okay, cool. Intelligence is a 10, wisdom's an 11. So it's
So marginally better.
we're fine. All right.
And I'll say that you know this goblin, this gnome fairly well at this point, so you can have advantage on that roll.
Oh, okay.
Because he's been your loyal minion for a long time.
17.
17. Okay, so the thing about wrong baloney is he kind of always speaks like that. He never tries to put anything in sure terms, primarily because he knows when he says, "Oh, this is definitely the only way into the plains." If he says something is definite and then it proves wrong, last time he did that, he got beat up and thrown into the dungeon for days. So he just speaks like that. He also exudes a very suspicious body language in general, whether or not he's telling a lie, which makes it, of course, very difficult to tell if he ever is telling a lie, because he's always very suspicious. But in this case, you're fairly confident that he at least believes that ravine is the only way into the Plains of Standing Stones. I hope that answers your question.
Enough.
So what'll it be, Masters? What'll it be? Well,
Well, look, we put what's his name, Tube Socks, in charge of the dungeon because he was capable, right? Well, why don't we just send him out to scout?
All right, fair enough. So we're taking Tube Socks out of his position as leader of the dungeon. We're sending in a quarter of the militant forces into the dungeon to help the manual labor of excavation, along with at least one of the hobgoblin lieutenants to take control there. And then Tube Socks, the former leader of the dungeon, is going to be sent all the way out to the ravine to scout, to send back a message when the heroes ultimately arrive. The wrong baloney says,
very well, Masters. It shall be done.
and he goes out and leaves you be while he goes about making sure your plan is carried out. While you guys are alone, you may discuss amongst yourselves if you want to get anything ready now that you know the heroes are coming.
I need to put together what ingredients I have and just await the last few.
Mm-hmm. The last one.
Yes. The single final ingredient necessary for my plan.
All right. And if the rest of you have nothing else to say, then I will carry forward. Wrong baloney goes ahead and carries out your plan. The minions follow their orders as minions are wont to do. Tube Socks complains a little. He's a very short, by goblin standards, he's a very short goblin, very fat goblin. He's not very fast. It will take him twice as long as any other minion to traverse the plains of standing stones to get to that ravine. However, he, after complaining about it for a long time, says he will of course abide by the wishes of the masters. Putting a quarter of your warriors into the dungeon, along with the instructions to cut corners, I'm going to say I'm going to need some type of check for this. I'm going to say, what should this be? Persuasion, to see how well you've influenced your minions to do their work. So Big Owick, it was your idea. You can make a persuasion check with advantage. Which, wow, okay.
Nat 20 -1.
Fancy.
So persuasive.
So they cut all the corners. In fact, they literally whip one of the non-combatant minions, one of the excavation team minions. One of them is literally whipped to death to motivate the others to cut all the corners. But that's what villains have to do sometimes. So the dungeon is dug out very quickly, and you get a fully working dungeon. Now, your favorite minion, Baloney, Wrong Baloney, comes back and says, "Masters, the dungeon is ready, but we need to figure out what we're going to put in it and how we're going to lure the warriors of good deeds to go through it. I've got a couple suggestions. Of course, if you have your own ideas, you can use those, but." We can do the traditional fill the dungeon with monsters, or the also somewhat differently traditional fill the dungeon with traps, or, and hear me out on this, a combination of traps and monsters. Ooh. He pulls out a list that he's drawn, and you can see that there's a picture of stick figures falling into a trap. And then there's another picture of stick figures being eaten by a monster. And then there's another picture of stick figures being eaten by a monster in a pit that they've fallen into from a trap. And you can see which one he prefers. But they all seem equally viable.
I appreciate
more monsters is more deadly. More traps is more difficult. But yeah.
What do you think?
Vitana, you started.
I said I appreciate his dedication.
Of course, Mistress
Right.
Britannia, always.
Yes. Quite impressive.
Oh, well, before I was a Class A minion, I did go to drawing school.
Ow.
See.
I feel like we need to put like distractions in as well, though. Like, think about it, right? You've got your trap with a monster in it. But what's causing like some dexterous, wisdomous, horrible creature like Gimbal Longbottom to go towards that trap? Treasure! That's what! We need to put treasure on the trap and then they'll all fall in. Yeah.
Well, yes, bait. I had ideas about that as well. You see, we could put treasure. A lot of heroes are lured by treasure, or and he's like, and hear me out on this. And he pulls out another sheet of paper, and he says, "See this stick figure here with the holy symbol on his shield?
Yeah.
That is the paladin Sir Istival. He was the mentor to Sir Baldric. If we kidnap him, I'm sure he's no longer nearly as capable, because he walks with a limp and like a cane and stuff. I'm sure he's no longer nearly the fighter he used to be. If we kidnap him, we could put him at the back of the dungeon and be like, and put signs say, "Hey, come rescue Sir Istival. He's trapped inside." And then he goes to the next sheet of paper and he says, "Or," and there's another stick figure. And this one has long red hair, and he's like, "See this? This is Elaine. Elaine is the sister of one of the warriors of good deeds, specifically that elven wizard. So we could kidnap her. She's never fought anyone a day in her life. She's a farmer, I think. So I'm sure not to be any trouble. Or, and hear me out on this." And he goes to the third sheet of paper, and there's another stick figure. And this one has like a little crown on his head. And he says, and he's holding like a book. And he says, "This here is Volo. If you've never heard of him, he's a famous author. He wrote a book called Volo's Guide to Monsters. He interviewed me for it once. But anyway, long story short,
Volo,
we
I've
could
heard
kidnap.
of him.
Yeah, you've heard of him.
Yeah,
Well,
he's got foamy
he's
toes, right?
yeah, exactly. That's the one. Well, he's a friend of the Warriors of Good Deeds. I have it on good authority that him and the dwarven cleric, they get on real well. So we could put treasure, or we could kidnap any one of these three. Now I've gone ahead and secured whatever it takes to do like one of those transportation rituals. We could totally like transport them here, but I only have enough for one. I only have enough supplies for one, so we'd only be able to kidnap one of them. We could totally kidnap them and bring them here and then put them in the dungeon. And then I'm sure the Warriors of Good Deeds won't be able to resist. But I'll leave it up to you. I'm sure we've got lots of treasure we could put there too.
I love it. Sadie, I've been making lots of decisions. What do you think?
And
Sorry. Sadie.
Thank you. I never know if you're addressing me.
Sorry.
I like the picture of the people falling into the traps. The third picture.
Yep. But what about bait? I'm tempted to go for the wizard's sister. It seems like an easy option.
Do we need bait? We could use bologna as bait.
Oh, I have plans for bologna. A promotion.
Can we just steal his ingredients? Get the wizard? Use them for our purposes?
Oh, I don't know about any of that magic stuff.
I do.
A concern I have is if we lean more heavily on traps, what's to say that the warriors of good deeds won't wisen up to them?
Gimbal is pretty tricksy.
I would never fall for that. I'm very smart.
Yes.
I mean, well, right, so what are we thinking? Are we thinking maybe we mix it up a little bit? Like, maybe we do it like a pattern, you know? Like, maybe like, I don't know, the Fibonacci sequence or something. Like, you know, trap, monster, trap, monster, trap, monster.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Have I told you today, Bigglewick, that in some moments I see a brilliance in you? Only some moments, but still.
Oh no!
See it all the time.
So, these traps! Ugh.
Yes, well, Bigglewick, the traps have been largely your doing. What do you feel is best?
Traps with monsters in them, with bait. I think we should get bait. I'm not sure if wrong's the right bait, but I mean, by definition, wrong isn't the right bait, is he? Because just by being there, he's automatically the wrong bait. Because he's wrong, so he's the wrong bait. But at the same time, it'd be easier to use wrong as the wrong bait, even if we can't have him as the right bait, than it would be to get the sister, even if she is the easiest one.
I don't know what you've said.
Wrong speaks up and said,
I don't know either. I've been trying to write notes, but I don't write very fast. Not nearly as fast as I draw stick figures.
and then he flips over the paper and shows you the notes he's been writing, and it's a blank page.
That's okay that wrong doesn't write.
We're saying wrong doesn't right, right?
Right. That's all right.
Right.
He's wrong. Wrong doesn't right, but that's all right because he's wrong.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Wrong nods along as if he understands, but he doesn't really get it.
So who's on first?
Yes. What did we all decide? What did you all decide?
Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah. So like, take this. Right. Try and write this down. Just write down the like, I don't know, T or M. Okay. Go trap, monster, trap, monster, trap, monster, trap, so on and so forth.
He scribbles furiously and says,
Got it.
you don't think he's got it, but he says, got it.
What about the baits? Are we doing treasure? Am I using that one teleport scroll we have to summon this hapless innocent victim?
Well, we thought about it long and hard, wrong, and we decided that even though it's easier to use you as bait, by definition, you are definitely the wrong bait.
Well, yeah, of course the heroes wouldn't want to save me.
No, but they might want to attack you, see? Got lots of knowledge, haven't you? Maybe
Oh.
he is the right bait.
Oh, right. You mean because I'm the only one other than you four, or you three, who knows where your lair is? Is that what you mean by lots of knowledge?
Should we kill him?
No, I plan to promote him. I'm just waiting on one more ingredient.
Well, look, I say we use the scroll and go and get the wizard's sister. I mean, easy in out job.
Is she a human?
She's a half elf, I think.
Oh.
Maybe.
Does half human count for your ingredients?
I don't
Maybe?
believe so.
Maybe we should get Volo.
Volo's a human.
Indeed.
I have it on good authority. It says right here, and he pulls out his signed copy of Volo's Guide to Monsters that wrong baloney just happens to carry with him, and says, "See, famous human adventurer Volo."
Right.
Weird that
we,
you have that.
we don't have to kidnap him. We've got a dungeon full of monsters. We can just tell him that we've got something rare, what's not in his book, and then tell everyone else we kidnapped him.
Well, exactly.
Foolproof.
So we're kidnapping Volo then. Sorry, putting Volo in the monster den.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I will tell the men, and I will get it all done. And then he takes off.
Don't eat too much while you're gone, wrong.
It wouldn't be right.
I never eat too much, especially because most of our reserves are bologna, and I don't like to eat bologna.
Cannibalism.
Why are you nodding when you said that? Sadie?
I don't know.
You said cannibalism and nodded a lot whilst you were looking at wrong. It was a bit unsettling.
I'm not nodding. I just sway because I'm a snake.
Oh, my mistake. Now I'm wrong.
So, Wrong goes off and gets things done. as he's wont to do. That's why he's the Scrum Minion. He gets things done. He makes sure that the newly excavated dungeon is populated with a mix of monsters and traps, and he makes sure that the scroll of teleportation is used, to summon Volo and to lure him into the dungeon. He also sees to it that a letter, forged letter written by Volo, says, "Come save me, heroes of good deeds," and he has that sent out to the nearest town, hoping that will find its way to the warriors, and everything seems to be going along great until. One of your minions, who specifically had gone to check on Tube Socks, as it had been a few days since he'd been out there by himself, watching the only entrance into the plane of standing stones. He had gone out to check on him, and he came back with a dead Tube Socks on the back of his skeletal warhorse. The wrong baloney says, "Masters, terrible thing has happened. Tube Socks has been murdered. And Bigowick, someone vandalized your trap."
Vandalized it?
Yes! They tore it all to pieces!
Was anyone stuck in the cage at the end?
Just dead Tube Socks.
I bet the silly bugger set it off.
Probably. That said, Grixis has an expert hunter on his team. He'd like to send out his hunter with a couple of men to go make sure, that there isn't someone lurking in the plains of standing stones, hiding behind all those standing stones, as this is easy to do. We should probably be on high alert if we're not already.
I mean,
the warriors of good deeds might already be here.
Let's not give up the element of surprise. If they kill one of ours and we bring them back, they probably expect us to go on high alert and send out hunters. So I think to maintain the element of surprise, we shouldn't do that. That's my 2 cents.
That's such a terrible idea. It's almost brilliant. I certainly would never have thought of that. Congratulations, Bigowick. Yes, of course. Unless the other masters have anything to say about it, I will make sure it gets done post-haste. Or rather, it doesn't get done.
Confirmation.
Nothing gets done.
It's just an assertion, Vitani. Sadie, what do you think?
Bigowick.
Yes.
I don't want to diminish any of your ideas. I have other plans. Do what you wish.
Oh. Sadie, are you gonna do the mysterious snake lady thing on me too? No, just saying, Vitani, I appreciate your gusto. What about you, Sadie?
I have no other plans.
Well, all right then, masters. I'm gonna make sure that it all gets done, or rather doesn't get done. We're gonna remain at normal levels of alertness, not to raise suspicion.
Yes.
I'll tell all the peoples. He goes out and does so. A short while later, your favorite minion returns once again in a huff and says, "Masters, masters!"
My favorite minion, I think it's Alexandria.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Every time it's wrong.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I probably should have specified then. You're the only minion who knows where your lair is. Returns to your lair. And that said, Alexandria probably knows where your lair is, but you've never told her. She just knows things. So wrong comes back into your lair in a huff, and he says, masters, terrible news.
Yes, out with it.
The keep is under attack by the warriors of good deeds. Our men are engaging them in the keep's courtyard right now as we speak. And there's more.
Yes,
He hesitates.
Wrong.
Well, there's only 3 of them.
Only 3. Which 3?
The human, the dwarf, and the elf. The halfling thief is not with them, and I don't know why. I know you really wanted your plan to get all 4 of them in one go. I'm so sorry. I thought for sure they would all come to save Volo.
3 out of 4 ain't bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
No,
2
you
out of
can't
3 ain't
trust that one, that thief. He's the reason my whole plan fell apart the first time.
Mine too.
That's true. And I mean, the only person who in theory knows if all 4 of them came through the only entrance into the Plains of Standing Stones is dead. I don't suppose any of you have speak with dead spells.
Any necromancers? Cough up now if you've been dabbling in necromancy. No judgment. Necromatics Anonymous. Just own up.
Poison?
Wait, are you offering me poison like a snack, or?
Just spells.
Well, then I guess we'll never know the secret of whether or not there is a hidden 4th warrior of good deeds somewhere lurking in the shadows, dyed with tube socks. Oh, terrible day. But what should we do? Do we think that the men and women of our keep are capable of handling themselves? Do you want to rush out to meet them in battle? Or do you want to stay here where it's safe?
I vote that one. I want to rush out and meet them. I've got a warhammer, and I know how to use it.
I
Oh,
like to be safe. But okay.
you know, I read a comic book once upon a time about, I think it was called The Man of Spiders and His 6 Sinister Foes. And I think it was similar plot in that all of his foes banded together to fight him. But they fought him one at a time without letting him take a short rest in between. It was very dastardly. But I don't think they won, so maybe you shouldn't follow that plan.
I do have Speak with Dead.
You do have Speak with Dead? Well, if you feel like casting it on Tube Socks, I'm sure he could tell you lots of things about what may or may not have passed by him as he was dying.
Yes, it's only a 3rd level spell. We're fine. Yes, I would like to do that.
All right, well, Wrong Baloney has Tube Sock's corpse dragged into your lair where you cast the spell. He is
the necromantic magic goes through his body, and like his eyes swing open, but they're black instead of the usual color that they would be expected to be. His body lifts itself up off the ground in a weird, very disturbing fashion. And it almost seems like he's a puppet on strings, like he's not really in control of his corpse, but a voice that does sound kind of like tube socks emerges from his mostly still mouth. And the corpse speaks.
Yes, words, please. Tube socks. What happened?
Why? Why?
Well, the warriors of good deeds are dastardly.
Yes, the warriors of good deeds tricked me, put me into the trap. Why? Why?
They trick you, tube socks.
Why, Bigowick, didn't you tell me before you sent me that there were traps there?
You're an architect! Look! You literally design traps for a living. How didn't you see them?
My feet were sore from walking.
Vitani, is this going to take long?
He continues to whine and complain for, a couple minutes. But eventually, he does say, the 3 warriors of good deeds distracted me on one side, while their halfling set up the trap on the other side. And I was dead. 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 Ah.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Did the trap work as intended, or did they cheat and just push the hand so the cage fell?
They cheated! They cheated horribly! Horrible cheaters that they are!
Ah! Oh, it makes my blood boil!
And then, though I have no way of knowing how I know this because I was certainly dead at the time, but after they sprung the trap on me, as they walked by, I saw them spit on your trap pieces. I don't know how I saw it. I was dead, but I did.
Vitani is about to rush out of the room because we've not heard back from Alexandria. But if there's spit on the trap pieces, then, well.
Oh, yes, that's right. There could be spit out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Tube Socks saw it happen, so.
So, new plan. Vitani goes out to the ravine to find the sun-dried spit. I go and take on the things and say, do you deal with the halfling?
Okay.
Yeah, seems legit. 3 people, 3 jobs. Easy.
I hear you should always split a party.
I've heard that too. Dungeon Defending 101. Split party forces as soon as possible.
Split party, yes.
I wish it was a split party, then Vitani would have had a much easier time.
All right. Renee.
Yes.
You rush out
Yes.
to find Alexandria, and she actually finds you before you ever get to the keep.
So I don't even have to go scrape off sun-dried spit.
No, she crosses your path like minutes after you leave your secret lair. It's quite astonishing. As if she almost knew you would be there. But she seems to step out from behind one of the many standing stones in the plains of standing stones, and she says, Vitani,
Alexander.
I have what you're looking for.
You do. Wonderful.
And she reaches into a crevice somewhere that she has somewhere on her person and pulls out this vial of presumably human spit. And she hands it over.
You have done well, Alexandria, but I expect no less from you.
And she says, I've done even better than you thought. That's not just any human's spit. That is Sir Baldric's human spit, which will add, I believe, a certain level of advantage to your attempts to reactivate your disease.
Yes, Alexandria. Brilliant. Don't return to the keep. It's under.
It's rather messy right now.
Yes. Don't.
Yes,
bother.
I will make myself scarce. It was a pleasure, as always.
Always is.
And then she.
Yeah, go back inside. Just looking so pleased.
All right, Bigglewick. Rushing to the keep, are we? What was it, axe in hand or hammer in hand?
You're muted.
He's muted. Did he say you have an axe or? Warhammer, that's right. Okay. You get to the keep. And there, amidst many bodies, you see all of your minions engaging in combat with no less than 3 members of the Warriors of Good Deeds. Now,
Very important question. Do they look surprised that we weren't expecting them?
Sure.
Excellent.
Most of your minions are dead. There are a few left standing. A couple of the dead ones have literally their pants down, as if they really weren't expecting them. Not just fake weren't expecting them, but really weren't expecting them. And yeah, so what do? You just raged into combat?
Yeah, I'm just gonna run in, and at the very sight of them, I'm gonna enrage. Oh, they make me mad. And they ruined my trap. Oh.
And they did ruin your trap. You see the human fighter, the dwarf cleric, and the elven wizard. Which one do you want to go at first?
Always attack the magic user first. That's the
Oh, always. Yeah, that's the way to go. Okay, so you rush past what few minions you have still standing, and you attack the magic user. Make your attack rolls.
Ah! Does a 19 hit?
A 19 does hit.
Fantastic.
They only have an armor class of 12. Sorry, 15 because of mage armor.
That'll be 6 damage.
I thought rage damage went
Noted.
up by the time that you got to that level.
Noted. 6 damage. So you take a small chunk out of the elf wizard. She's already hurt. They've obviously been fighting your minions and winning, but not without damage on themselves. They immediately, upon seeing you, turn their attention to you. The wizard disengages, takes a step back, and uses their magic to kind of cast a wall of force to keep most of your minions at bay like to push them back so that it's just you against the other two, while the wizard is holding back the rest.
Oh dear.
The fighter and the cleric, they rush at you, and they're each going to attack.
Yeah, 14 hits. Yeah, meets beats.
14 hits. And what about a 16?
Yeah, 16 hits. Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah. If you guess if a 14 hits, then a 16 hits. So they both hit. And one of them is wielding a maul, and the other one's wielding a great sword, which is pretty great.
Yeah, it looks brilliant.
Boom.
Boom, except gets to reroll ones.
Oh,
So 10 damage from the great sword.
I'll round that down to 5 because I've got aspect
Sure.
of the bear.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And the maul is gonna do the maul's gonna do 5. Does not reroll ones.
Do I roll that down to
What?
2? I feel pretty lucky right now.
Yeah, I guess so. Down to 2. So they've hardly put a dent in you. You're gonna keep fighting them, and as a bear barbarian, you can single-handedly keep them busy for a little while. We're gonna shift the focus over to Sadie, and say, what is she doing? She's looking for the halfling, correct?
That's the plan.
All right. So does she? Where does she go to look for the halfling? Does she look around the keep? Does she look around the dungeon? Does she go just like all around the plains, hoping to spot this halfling? Does she steal one of the skeletal war horses of her hobgoblin minions and just start riding it around, hoping to spot a halfling?
I mean, I have my own horse made of ice, and it can levitate. So.
I'm well aware. I just thought maybe that horse was a bit cold.
It is, but I don't think she's smart enough to steal someone else's horse. So yeah, I will take my icy horse.
All right.
And ride around the plains.
Make a perception check.
Sure.
Perception. 6.
Yeah, 6, flat 6.
You circle the plains, the entire plains once on your flying horse. You do not see any sign of half.
Okay. But I know all the action's going on at the keep, right?
There is a lot of action going on in the keep.
I think that she'd probably just like lose focus and be like, I'm gonna go see what's up there.
Okay. So you fly over to the keep. You still don't see a halfling. But looking down on the keep, you see that it's chaos down there. Most of your minions are dead. Those few that are standing are being held back by a wall of force, which is keeping the wizard pretty busy. But the other 2 members of the Warriors of Good Deeds are engaged with your barbarian friend, the kobold. It looks like they're fairly evenly matched, at least while he's raging.
Okay.
But if they can outlast his rage, they might prevail. Ooh.
Yeah, right. I think I'm gonna attack the wizard that's using the wall of force to see what I can do.
All right, cool. So,
actually, I'm not gonna really attack him so much as I want to try to do something.
What are you trying to do?
Well, I need to get within 60 feet of him. So if I could levitate my icy cold horse near him.
Sure. You can be 60 feet right above his head.
Awesome.
And,
I would like
and
him.
when engaged in the throes of combat, people rarely look up. They're too busy looking around them, you know?
Right? I would like him to make me a charisma save.
Okay. The wizard, which is a she,
Okay. I would like
is going to roll a charisma save. Is going to roll a nat 1.
Cool. She's banished.
Okay, banished. What does banishment do? Refresh my memory.
All right, so they're basically banished to a different plane of existence. If they're not from the plane that we're currently on, they never come back. Otherwise, it's a concentration spell, and they will come back after a minute.
Awesome. So she pops out of existence. As soon as she does, the wall of force vanishes, and suddenly the two warriors that were flanking our barbarian kobold are now surrounded themselves by the 6 or 7 minions that are still standing.
Mm-hmm.
And things don't look so good for them anymore.
Cool. Job well done.
Big ol' Wick, if you want to make another attack roll, you're more than welcome to do so.
I can, and now I can use pack tactics.
You sure can. You absolutely can.
I'm gonna attack the dwarf.
Okay.
Does a 20 hit?
Yes.
Perfect. So there's that. That's another 7 damage. And I also forgot that as a barbarian at level 8, I should have an extra attack.
You should.
I'd like to throw
Alright,
one of those in this time.
Okay, go for it.
23.
Awesome. All right, so 23 damage or 23 to hit?
23 to hit, giving another 9 damage for a total of 16.
16 all total. Fantastic. Okay. And then all of your minions are going to go, and they're all going to beat on all of them. I just have the minions doing generic minions swarm damage. So they're each going to take... They're each going to take 2d6 damage from the minions. They're each going to take 8 damage as the bunch of minions beat on them. Then the two that are left static are going to let's see. One of them is going to attack you. The fighter is going to attack you. He's going to use his second wind as the bonus action. And then he's going to attack you with his greatsword. He also can make multiple attacks, and he forgot. So he's going to attack you twice with his greatsword.
Ah! We are equally forgetful.
He's like, thanks for reminding me. Let's see. I rolled a 14 and a 12.
The 14 hits.
Okay, so we hit with 1. Great sword hit.
Oh.
And he's gonna do 8 damage.
Round that down to 4.
Okay. That was the fighter. The cleric is starting to feel a little unsure given how they are now surrounded. And he is going to cast a spell, or he's going to try to. He's going to summon some spirit guardians to help fend off the minions that are attacking the two of them. It is a concentration spell, so there's a lot of things going on that could interrupt that concentration, but a number of spirits pop into existence.
Sadie, would you like to do anything else?
Looks like he's got things handled down here.
Oh, he does, pretty much. As long as you can keep concentrating on banishment, he's probably gonna take them out.
We're gonna concentrate on banishment. And then I guess I'll go to the dungeon. Look for the half.
Okay. Meanwhile, Vitani, I assume you're building your ritual to reactivate the disease in Sir Baldric.
Yes, finishing up this poison, whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
It is a ritual potion of sorts. You have to make someone drink it. Doesn't need to be Sir Baldric, it can be anyone. But somebody who drinks it, they will explode, and then when they explode, it should ruffle the threads of the weave enough that it reactivates the disease in Sir Baldric.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to find a poor sap to drink your potion.
Well, I was wondering if Wrong was about.
He is! He is about. He's like, yes, master?
Drink this.
What can I do for you? Okay. He takes the cork off. He takes a sniff. Whoa, that's quite pungent. Are you?
Yes, and only good on an empty stomach. Otherwise, it all just comes up. Hence, not eating. This is your promotion.
Oh!
Yeah.
You mean I get to be more than just a minion?
You are so important, Wrong.
He's like, well, all right then. Bottoms up. Glug, 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 glug. Wow. Oh, got that. Oh.
Pungent, yes.
Yeah, that was hard to go down.
To the keep, shall we?
Yes, to the keep.
Sir Baldric is our mark.
Yes, we have to go to him. And then he starts going to the keep. Do you go with him or do you stay here in the lair?
Part of me feels like leaving the lair undefended would be a bad plan. But also, I'm honestly not sure what of value we keep in the lair when really all of my plan hinges on Sir Baldric, who is reported at the keep.
I'll tell you, the only real value in the lair, besides the fact that it is it is in theory hidden, and nobody knows where it is while you guys are in the lair, should you need to engage in combat in the lair, you get special lair actions that I didn't tell you about, as all villains do.
Wonderful, yes.
So there is that.
Yes, but I have an ego, and I think I want to see this plan play out, yes. So I think that my plan is to not engage in the action, if at all possible, to stay around the edges and watch, observe, and if need be, return to the lair. But other than that, I will leave to see if I can reactivate this plague.
You go to the keep. And when you get to the keep, it's chaos.
Of course. I expect no less.
The wrong baloney occasionally groans on the way there. Oh, my stomach doesn't feel so good, Mistress Batani.
You'll be fine. Just a few unusual ingredients.
Of course.
You get to the keep just in time to witness something astonishing happen. So the barbarian kobold, Bigowick, is engaged with the cleric and the fighter, and surrounding them is a bunch of minions. And surrounding the minions is a bunch of spirits. All of a sudden, something comes over the fighter, Sir Baldric. And he turns to his ally, the dwarf cleric, and he hits the dwarf cleric with his greatsword. And the dwarf cleric is totally not expecting the attack, so he has advantage. So he's gonna hit. And that forces the cleric to have to make a saving throw to maintain concentration on his spell. Which he fails. She fails, sorry. So the spirits disappear, and the spirits disappear, and the dwarf is now down on one knee, surrounded by enemies, and looking up at the fighter who just hit her in shock. And out from the shadows steps the succubus Alexandria and says, "Very good. Exactly as I told him to do." And Sir Baldric surrenders because he is under the sway of a succubus.
She is magnificent.
Isn't she? And the dwarf, the wizard being gone and Sir Baldric being turned, the dwarf does not feel like the situation is in her favor, so she also surrenders. Meanwhile, at the dungeon, Sadie, you arrive at the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing you notice is that the sign that says, "This way, heroes, Volo is trapped in here," has been knocked over.
Mm.
And when you take 2 more steps into the dungeon, you see what remains of a clearly subverted trap that was in the entry hall that has been deactivated. Someone's been through here.
Okay.
Someone's been through here and someone has deactivated the traps.
But they were so careful and thought out.
They were very careful and thought out. Could it be one of the monsters that you put in the dungeon sprung the traps in the, or could it be something else? Could it have been Volo? I mean, he was tied up.
Where is Volo supposed to be?
So he is at he's at the very bottom sub-level of the dungeon. The dungeon has 5 chambers across two sub-levels.
Mm-hmm.
And Volo is trapped in the bottom one. And you have a mix of traps and monsters in each of the 5 chambers.
Yeah. Can I go see if Volo's still there?
Sure. So you start to go through the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
You find more signs that traps have been sprung. In fact, in some of the traps, you find the corpses of some of your monsters.
Oh, no.
It's very, very unfortunate. Like the monsters, either wandered right straight into the traps or were lured into the traps or something happened. Who knows? But you make your way through the the carnage. You do get to one room that was full of monsters, and it's still full of monsters, and they're asleep.
Okay. Oh no. Okay.
And it's a pair of ogres. When you wake them and demand to know what happened, they said, "Oh, no one's been through here. We've been sleeping the whole time, and we would have woke up for sure." But then again, ogres are kind of dim.
Yeah.
So you move on through the dungeon, and you get to the very bottom of it, and there you find Volo, still tied up, right where you left him, and yet all of the things leading up to him seem to have been sprung. Volo has a gag in his mouth, and he seems to be trying to say something to you. He's like,
I will ungag Volo because I want to hear what he has to say.
Of course. So you go to ungag Volo, and he says, "The hospitality in this dungeon is horrible. You didn't tell me that I would be tied up."
I didn't tell you anything.
Well, no, but you had a gnome friend who promised me that I could study some rare monsters.
You still can.
Well, all right then. And who might you be?
Oh. Sadie.
Nice to meet you, Sadie. I'm Volo, the famous explorer extraordinaire. I'm sure you've heard of me.
Sadie.
Yes, Sadie, that's what I said.
Sadie.
You sound like you have a bit of a lisp there, lady.
A lisp?
Yes, it's when you say your S is really long.
I regag Volo.
As you're regagging, as you're distracted by the annoyance that is the buffoon that is Volo, something sneaks up on you from behind. And is going to roll an attack roll with advantage.
No.
So you rolled an 18 versus your AC, which I don't know what your AC is, but 18 is pretty high.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that hits.
An 18, yeah. I'm a snake sorcerer. You kidding?
Right? So you get stabbed from behind with a short sword. And
No.
delicious sneak attack damage.
You mean sneak attack damage?
Sneak attack damage, yes.
I didn't
That's the one.
understand what you meant, so.
Or at the moment, is it sneak attack damage?
Snack attack.
Oof.
Holy shit! I'm not. Okay.
You found the rogue.
Neat. Nice to meet you, rogue.
From out of nowhere, the halfling jumps and stabs you at the back and then shouts at Volo. He shouts, "Volo, my name is Gimbal Longbottom and I'm here to rescue you." And Volo muffles something again through the gag. He's like, and Gimbal reaches up and takes the gag out of his mouth and he says, and Volo finally says, "Aren't you a little short for an adventurer?" And Gimbal sighs and puts the gag back in his mouth. we're gonna go back to the keep. What's going on over here?
Oh, it's a foolproof plan, really, isn't it?
I was
Go on.
sorry, I was muted. I said Volo, so good with monsters, not so good with people.
That's exactly correct.
Back at keep, I'm still wailing on. So like Sir Tom, Sir
Baldric has turned, influenced by the powers of the succubus. He has switched sides, apparently. The cleric, who is astonished by Sir Baldric turning out to be a traitor, it has surrendered, but she is very upset and is looking for a way out.
Well,
But you currently have her surrounded, so I don't know what you want to do.
Sir Baldric has turned. That means it's the last moment that he'll be expecting an attack.
That is true. He will not be expecting an attack. You would totally get advantage right now if you attacked him.
I'm gonna attack him.
He's lowered his weapon, so go for it.
There's a 19 hit him.
It actually does. I mean, he wears plate armor, so his AC is 18, but 19 will do it.
Boom. Oh, that's the best damage I've done all day.
15!
Wow!
Extra attack, let's go mad!
Go for it.
That's another 15! 30!
Wow. So how much damage all total?
30.
30. 30 on Sir Baldric. Well, he wasn't doing too hot because he had lost a lot of hit points tanking against most of your minions. But he also is a huge stack of hit points because he's a fighter. So he is still standing. Remember, I just looked in the chat and someone says, Sai, remember the succubus spell, you dummy. I'm assuming they're talking to Bigglewick. But fortunately for me, Bigglewick can't hear you. So you attack Baldric. This is going to give him a renewed save on the succubus's ability, which I will roll right now. Nat 20. Baldric snaps out of it, grabs his sword, which he had lowered, and turns it on you. A little confused, but a little dazed, but not so much so that he doesn't know an enemy when he sees it. And he's gonna proceed to attack.
Aha! I've got him right where I want him. Wait.
He's gonna hit. For 12 damage.
Oh, yeah, that hits. I'll drop. I'll just take 6 again.
He's gonna attack you a second time.
Of course. That'll hit as well. Yep. Ooh.
Another 13 damage.
I'm getting close to half health.
The cleric smiles and picks up her maul again and is like, "There's the Baldric I know." And she's going to be invigorated to attack you as well. She's gonna hit. $10 damage.
Ooh.
And all of a sudden,
as some other things are happening in the dungeon. Sadie, I would like you to roll a Constitution saving throw with a fairly high DC against that damage you just took.
Is it for poison?
No, it's
Oh.
actually to maintain concentration on banishment.
Oh, shit.
And I'm going to use one of these banked disadvantages that I think was Malhydel gave me a while ago.
I'm going to use an advantage and counteract your disadvantage.
Oh!
No using gifts against each other. Gifts are boons. You
Oh,
can't be used in
no.
wars. Sorry.
Oh boy.
Disadvantage it is. First is
Fine. Okay.
Oh boy.
Oof.
So, as that short sword sinks into your back, you feel your concentration on the banishment fade away. And for those of you that are still at the keep, you see the wizard appear out of thin air. Oh dear.
Aha! Uh-oh.
Oh dear. Things seem to be shifting just in time to save the heroes, when all of a sudden there is a cry from a very nasally gnome in the corner of the keep, and Wrong Baloney explodes.
Oh no! Explode close enough to Sir Baldric.
Almost instantly. Snap of a finger. As soon as Baloney explodes, Sir Baldric feels his guts wrench and heave. And he drops his sword. And he bends over and starts puking all over the ground. Your minions, the 5 or 6 of them that are left standing, all look at this as the advantage they were waiting for. Half of them rush the puking Sir Balric. The other half, remembering what the wizard was capable of, rush the wizard so that she doesn't cast another wall of force. And they're gonna jump on them and do some damage. That's 8 damage on the wizard and Sir Baldric. Sir Baldric is actually going to take more because his disease is really bad. All right. Vichani, you see all this happening.
Yes.
What do you want to do?
I'm literally just like.
Plan seems to be going off just as you had hoped.
Yeah. I'm like standing at the top railing and like looking down on the chaos with like arms leaned or arms wide, set wide, like leaning across the rail, and just I think at this point there's a thaumaturgy induced maniacal laugh.
stereo,
And-
nice.
Yes, thank you. And that
very well done.
reverberates throughout the keep.
Very well done. Bigglewick, what are you doing?
I see the mage appear, and then our gnome explodes. And of course, I can only attribute this to them, so I turn to them and I point and I say, "You killed the wrong baloney!" And I'm gonna
dive on them to try and attack them.
Okay. Make your attack rolls on the mage. I'm gonna say that Sir Baldric is too busy puking to get an attack of opportunity, but the cleric is gonna get one on you for moving away from her to go after the mage.
I'm gonna burn my 2 advantages on the 2 attacks here.
Burning your 2 advantage on the 2 attacks. Okay, so here, let me just.
Oh, sorry.
This is the cleric getting an opportunity attack on you.
Oh, sorry. Yep, that hits.
That hits. So. 10 damage.
Yeah, round that down to 25.
5.
Oof.
And then both of your attacks with advantage will hit that wizard.
A grand total of 18 damage.
Woof. 18 damage. With that, you knock the wizard clean out. A powerful blow from the kobold's hammer. You leap into the air and you bring the hammer down, and that elf wizard is down. She won't be casting any spells anytime soon.
And Bigglewicks' war cry resounds across the walls. Flex!
Sadie.
Mm-hmm.
You're standing between a halfling and a buffoon.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Well, I mean, Volo just is dumb and can't say my name, so I'm not going to attack him, but I will attack the guy that sneak attacked me. That snake attacked me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Snake attack the snake.
Can you believe it? All right.
I don't know.
What a snake in the grass.
Right? God. Is he right next to me, like within melee?
Yes.
Okay. I'll try to do a shocking grasp.
Go for it.
Okay.
And do you want to use one of your banked advantages?
You know what? I do. I definitely do.
Okay. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, shocking grasp is a melee spell attack roll.
It is, yeah. I'm just seeing what my to hit is. It's a +7.
Okay.
So 17 + 7.
17 plus 7 is definitely a hit.
Cool. And then that's 2d8 lightning.
Okay.
Okay. And then since he can't take reactions, I'm going to back away from him.
Okay. Okay, so 11 damage, and he can't take reactions. He's gonna on his turn. He is going to try to attack you back.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing fancy. He's cursing the fact that he doesn't have an ally to grant him sneak attack damage.
Yeah, I bet he is.
Volo does not count as an ally. Volo's tied up.
Yeah.
He's going to roll really low.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your AC is, but he rolled a 10, so probably miss.
It's a miss.
And back at the keep, the only one that's still standing that's of any usefulness is the cleric. Dwarves take a lot to go down, apparently. She was a second ago impressed that Sir Balric turned the tide, and almost instantly depressed that Sir Balric started puking all over the place, getting some on her shoe. She's like, can't ever trust a human to do a dwarf's job.
She's going to rush at. She's going to look up at Vitani, who's on top of the wall. And she's going to push her way past the minions, provoking a whole bunch of opportunity attacks from them. As she rushes to stop who she thinks is in charge of all this. She's going to take... I'm not even going to roll attack rolls. She's just going to take 2d6 minion damage from the opportunity attack, which she survives, and she makes it to the wall. She's not going to bother going for the stairs. She is just straight up going to try to climb that wall. This is going to require her to dash and make an athletics check. She will succeed. So the dwarf cleric has bounded up to the wall and is now toe-to-toe with Vitani. And she is wielding a maul and righteous fury. But it was her action to get up there, so she doesn't get to do anything. Begowick!
Hello!
What are you doing?
Well...
You downed the wizard.
Right, that's that one done. Sir Baloney. No, Baloney's dead. Sir Baldric. He's,
Maloney was promoted. Please don't be crass.
He exploded!
Promoted.
He was killed by the mage! I'm looking at Sir Baldric. Because I'm also looking at the cleric dwarf and springing up things like that. It's not really my jam. I could go and find the front door and make my way up, but that's a bit of a run. Is Sir Baldric... Oh, sorry, I'm just going to go hit Sir Baldric. Boom.
Okay. Well, you have advantage on the attack roll. Sir Baldric is basically incapacitated by
19.
the need to puke. That hits. Promoted to dead.
There's another 15 damage there.
15 damage. Oof.
I mean, well, since I've got the extra attack, I might as well. 15.
Might as
won't
well.
hit. Yeah, that won't hit.
No, but he will take some more damage from minions that are beating on him. And some more damage from puking his guts out. And between your attack, the minions, and puking his guts out, Sir Baldric also falls. Things are looking bleak for the heroes. Is this going to be a TPK? Maybe. We're going to find out. The dwarf. The dwarf already got a turn. Vitani, what do you want to do?
I cast Blight on the cleric? Yeah?
Yes, the cleric.
Yeah. So it would be a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Now, Constitution saving throw. She rolls a 12.
That does not succeed.
Well then, what does Blight do?
The target takes 8d8 necrotic damage.
Oh my goodness.
33.
Well, that's enough. Blight necrotic energies wash over her, and as she whispers a prayer to her god for some divine intervention, it goes unheard, and the cleric dwarf falls. You have downed all 3 of the members of the Warriors of Good Deeds.
And Vitani falls to her knees and just lets out a wail as her grand plan saw its failure in the last round with the death of Sir Baldric.
Right, because you wanted Sir Baldric to travel the land and spread your disease.
Yes,
Aren't you a cleric, though?
yes, I did, and so, yeah, I am actually. There is something we could still do, but I think there's just like this moment of just like, you.
And it would have well worked too if Bigowick the Kobold didn't go in there and finish him off. He had enough hit points to survive the initial onset of the disease, and he could have probably left here and spread it throughout the realm. But Bigowick ruined your plans.
Whoops.
I mean, Bigowick will probably say, but you never told me your plans. But he should have known better, right?
Should have known better.
Also, welcome Raiders from Unmade Gaming. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Welcome, Raiders. Meanwhile, in the dungeon, Sadie, you're toe to toe with the only remaining warrior of good deeds, and the halfling, Gimbal Longbottom. Looks over at Volo, who is, again, muffling something. And so Gimbal sighs and takes the gag out of Volo's mouth, and he says, you know, this would have been over by now if you had brought help instead of coming by yourself. And Gimbal gets this very frustrated look on his face and just shoves that gag back into Volo's mouth and says, you know what? You can have him. And then disengages and tries to leave. What do you do, Sadie?
I'm gonna attack
Gimbal's
him.
back is turned.
Yeah, good. Wonderful. I don't care. I am going to hurl a chromatic orb at him, which will be a poison orb.
Okay.
And I'm going to
Go
use
for
one
it.
of my advantages.
All right.
Oh. So it does a 14 hit?
It does.
Oh, wonderful. So this is going to be poison damage, if that matters.
It might. I don't think halflings have resistance to poison. That's a dwarf thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, it doesn't matter.
20 damage.
And Gimbal falls. You have defeated, at long last, the warriors of good deeds. Congratulations.
I want to run so bad. I want to run towards Sir Baldric, and I want to
You want to run to Sir Baldric and
cast Revivify.
What are you doing?
Yes. I can't resist the urge. I can't.
As Vitani starts casting, I go and hit her.
Vitani casts Revivify just in time as Bigowick attacks her. So Bigowick, make an attack against Vitani.
Nah. Extra attack.
That'll hit.
I bought
Okay.
you.
Don't revive the heroes! We finally won!
So Baldric sits back up. alive, but looking kind of sickly. What just happened?
This isn't just about revenge, Bigglewick. This is greater than that. Think bigger. Think world domination.
Are you making this a sizes joke?
Wasn't, but if you want to go there, I won't.
I'll have you know that I can speak Draconic, you know?
So can I.
It's a big language.
Yes.
It's big. While you two are arguing / trading blows, a 1 HP Sir Baldric crawls his way away from the chaos. Grabs, somehow manages to grab both the downed cleric and the downed wizard, and you two of you are just arguing over whether this was really just about revenge for revenge's sake or some type of bigger plot, and the next thing you notice, one of your few remaining minions, we'll say Grixis, he's one of the only ones that's left still standing. He's like, Masters.
Yes, Grixis.
While you were arguing, the warriors, they got away. Grixis turns to Bigglewick and says, I don't understand. Do you understand?
I don't understand either. I think she's lost it.
Meanwhile, in the dungeon, Sadie, you just downed Gimbal.
Who?
Gimbal, the halfling.
Who did?
Sadie. Apologies.
Okay. Sorry, yeah. I didn't know who you're talking to.
You're right. Yeah, no, I misspoke. I was channeling my inner Volo. Downed Gimbal, and so you still have a tied up Volo next to you and an unconscious Gimbal. What are you doing over there?
I will ungag Volo.
Uh-huh.
Volo.
Yes.
I'm sorry that you got gagged. Did you know he was here?
No, I'm sorry too.
Did you know he was here?
Well, yes. I mean, he came in first, ungagged me, then I started to talk to him about my new book, I think, and he then said, "Shush, someone's coming," and then he put the gag back in my mouth. How rude! And he went and hid in that corner, and you came out, and then you ungagged me, and I told you the hospitality here was terrible, which it is. I'd like to complain to the management.
Mm-hmm.
And then the two of you had your little spat, and oh dear, that's one bloody halfling.
They still have just as much blood.
That's an odd thing to say, but okay.
Maybe. Let's get out of here, and if you continue to say my name wrong, we might gag you again, but let's go.
All right. So you and Volo leave. So you beat them, the warriors of good deeds. But at least 3 of them survived. Jury's still out. You go back to clean the dungeon later, and the body for the halfling is missing.
in its place is just a puddle. Not even of blood, just water. It's rather strange, but
That puppy needs to play.
Somewhere in the background, a dog is whining. But you defeated the warriors of good deeds, but then, because I guess you couldn't agree, as all villain teams can't, you couldn't agree on what the best course of action for your revenge was, and so they were allowed to somehow, against all odds, pick themselves back up and survive to fight another day.
Indeed. And yet Vitani parts ways with her companions, commends Alexandria, and breaks off on her own to continue pursuing her villainous career with renewed confidence, waiting for the plague to take hold of the mass populace.
What happens to Lydia and Bigglewick?
Bigglewick remains at the dungeon and builds the bigger, better mousetrap over and over and over until the entire dungeon is one intricate trap which cannot fail!
I'll tell you what happens with that in a second. Lydia, what happens to Sadie?
She leaves this dungeon in this lair, and she goes and finds a much warmer and sunnier spot. She has nothing. I mean, she's not smart enough to outdo science to fix the ozone, so she's just gonna have to go get warm and try to figure out a new evil plot. Oh.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay.
Are you back?
The Volo, who's a buffoon, but not worth your time, so you let him go. It's stones. And he tells in it all.
Are you back?
Oh no.
Not now, not right at the end.
Adventures there. And in doing so, there's a
Curse
What?
the warriors of good deeds!
Curse them messing with the internet.
in doing so, he the internet's cutting out.
Yeah, you cut out big time for like
Can you
the
hear
last,
me?
for the whole monologue. For the whole monologue. You're back
Oh,
now.
boy.
I can hear you now.
Oh, boy.
You're back now.
Okay.
Then heroes of good
Okay.
deeds. Why I honor.
Yeah, they had to get one more in just before the end. Volo, who was too much of a buffoon for you to bother with, you let him go. He writes a new book called The Wonders of the Plains of Standing Stones. And it's all about his greatly exaggerated adventures in the Plains of Standing Stones. In writing this book, he fosters a whole new tourist market. Tons of people who want to see the places that Volo talks about in his book start flooding to the Plains of Standing Stones. And your old keep, your old base, just becomes a tourist attraction. All of those traps that Bigglewick keeps setting up, tourists, they just come through and ruin everything. And so it was that the Crimson Court rose, very nearly achieved the greatness they sought, but then fell to infighting and went their separate ways. And the warriors of good deeds were never heard from again.
Well, Josh, that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. We are right up at the time. So
right at the time.
Right at the time. So we'll go around quickly. Tell us your favorite part. Who you are, where we can find you online. Nice quick wrap up though. I'm looking at you, Renee, because you've got so much stuff. I'll put it all in the Twitter feed, but maybe just wrap it up quick. Let's start with Lydia.
Hi, I'm Lydia. I enjoyed playing a snake lady. My favorite part was interacting with Volo, who just really was terrible at conversing with a snake lady. That's it. I had such a great time. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Scott, for having me back. Renee, it was so good to finally get to play with you. If you want, you can find me online on Twitter at Lydia Heals. I am around on the internet, various channels, playing usually an elf, more often than that an elf cleric. But I would love if we could be friends. Thanks. Bye.
Aww. Next around we have Renee.
Hi, I'm Renee, and Scott has already dropped all my links for things that I do. I'm on streams here twice a week, Mondays and Wednesdays. I also do podcasts, Fate and the Fable Maidens, and Edenfall, and I write a lot of things, but mostly follow me on Twitter for more information. I loved today. I loved basically doing the Holy Nightmare Batman, all four of them working together. A thought so dreadful, I barely hate to give it utterance, etc., from the Batman movie. So thank you so much for being that today. It was a lot of fun. And Bigglewick's big trap was absolutely my favorite part. It was such a shame that we got to tell our minion about it, but it was very good. And thank you so much for all of the brilliance that came together for our wonderful, evil, masterful plot.
My favorite part was wrong. Because wrong was just the gift that kept on giving, you know, like it started off like, you know, with like our favorite thing, who definitely was not our favorite, but then the whole like the whole wrong monologue we had was just it was so wrong, it was right. Thank you very much, A. Kelly, for that sub. See, it just keeps on giving. It's the gift that keeps giving. Thank you, A. Kelly, for that sub. You will have you have an advantage to gift. You can save it for the next stream. Josh, we come to you, friend.
Josh is frozen.
Oh no.
Oh no.
My name's Joshua. Oh, am I
You're
interrupted
good.
again?
You're good.
Okay. My name's Joshua. You can find me on Twitter at Joshua Barbeau. That's Barbeau. I am streaming right now with Scrat every Tuesday in Apotheosis, which is an awesome show. And if you haven't watched it, you should totally catch up. I play a Minotaur Paladin monk, and I write stuff. I'm engaging with the D&D community, and I'm looking to do more. I'm starting up a new stream in October, so you can follow me on Twitter to get more news about that. And so my favorite part of the stream was just getting to watch all of you guys interact as villains. It was such a treat. Normally, the trope is in D&D, you don't let your players play evil characters because bad things will happen. And I think this one shot stands a testament that is just not true, because this was nothing but fun the whole way through. So thank you all for participating, and thank you all for bringing such awesome characters to the table that I could have so much fun interacting with. Especially you, Sadie. I had a lot of fun. I was holding on to, somebody is going to say her name wrong. I was holding on to that the whole way through until Volo showed up.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to put another 20 minutes on the clock. We'll be back in 20 minutes with Matt Bat's first stream being DM streaming on thingy. Yep. It's going to be great. We'll see you then. Keep on evoking emotions. Check out the closing links. All of the things, but mostly our sponsors, Bird and Storm Publishing and Mage Hand Press. Go and check them out. They're awesome. We have discount codes. It's all good stuff. Lydia, Renee, Josh, amazing stream today. Thank you so much. We'll be back in 20.
Happy full-time birthday of Scratticus Academy!
Happy birthday, Scratticus! Right.
Quick shout out whilst we're between streams. Thank you so much for all the subs. A. Kelly Lane there, 14 months longer than we've been full time. Falcon of Venom, thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Maharishi, thank you also for gifting the sub to Blue Hoodie. And Michael Wayne, thank you so much for gifting that sub to the Opera Geek. We will be back in around 17 minutes. Hold on to them advantages. Let me know who they're going to. Sammy claims that Kelly, yours is going to hers. I'd love to see confirmation on that. Not that I distrust Sammy. I'm sure she's very trustworthy, but I'd love to see your words. She's in Zoom. She can hear me. It's funny. See you in a bit. Bye! Hi everyone, thank you so much for those extra subs coming in. Michael Wayne with the gift sub to Zeldandroid, and also Arasavad continuing the gift sub there. The reason we're making a special announcement about this is because well done, y'all. We've hit a magic number. We now have 369 subscribers. Nice. Yeah, we'll be back soon. I'm going to break up the VODs in a minute, so don't be alarmed if the stream closes. It's just breaking up the videos for the VODs, because I'm lazy and it's easy to do it. See you in a bit, bye!